And today I've learned a lesson that white shirts are apparently a little bit too bright to use on camera when you're using studio lighting. So that was my mistake. I've had to cover myself up with my grey cardigan. So I'm nice and cozy as we get started. Today I'm going to be talking about why I use live streams. Why I use live streams. This is kind of a response, really. Although I'm continuing, I was planning to cover live streams all this week anyway. But this is a response to my friend Mark Williams, who hosts the LinkedIn Formed podcast, who asked this question on his recent show about why people would use podcasts, why people would use live streams even, about outside of things like just doing stuff while you're on the move and showing something that whilst it's happening. I hope I can give a good answer to that question. So stay with me after the titles. That's what I'm talking about, why I do live streaming. See you in a moment. Welcome to the Daily Present with Johnny Ball. Monday to Friday, talking about public speaking and presentation skills and the tools of influence and persuasion. Dance along now.
Wow! Come on, groove along. That's it, baby. I know.
So the theme today is live streaming. Why do I use live streaming as a coach, as a content creator, as a trainer and teacher? Why do I do it? Well, there are a few reasons really, and so I want to get into it today. But one thing I think is, initially, it's not one of the main points here, but live streaming is kind of fun, and it's a good thing to get better at. It can be a bit scary for a lot of people, but it is a really good thing to get better at. We have a bit of background noise today, so do excuse that. But here's the number one reason. The number one reason why I started using live stream is workflow. Because as a podcaster and content creator, it just saves so much time if you do your shows as a live stream, because there's a lot of time you can spend editing stuff after the fact. And if you ever have been a content creator, if you have a YouTube channel or anything like that, you'll know how painstaking it can be and how much time you can end up consuming in editing your video files. When you do a live stream, you can mostly do it as a one and done. There's not too much that you maybe have to follow up on. Now, I also did this primarily for podcasting. So I just ended up doing a daily show because I thought it would be fun to do and give it a try, and something that I wanted to get better at doing as well, just being able to more or less riff on the spot, improvise, talk about stuff that I know about, and hopefully structure stuff in a useful and interesting way for various people. So this is why I started doing the live streaming. It saves me a load of time when I am doing my shows, because I do it all myself. I do all the editing myself. I do all the publishing myself. I do all the promotions myself. And I also have my own business to run outside of doing the podcast and daily shows and things like this, where I am working with clients and running webinars and online trainings, and everything has to be fitted in. Still need to do the stuff that brings in the money, but I also want to do the stuff that is fun and hopefully adds value to people as well. So that was really why I started doing the live streaming, and I found that initially maybe it was a bit challenging, and I still feel like it's something I'm getting better at as I go along. That it's a work in progress, right? And the technology is improving all the time as well. So let's have a think about another reason why. And so another reason why you might want to do this is because it's raw and imperfect. So this really is a thing of not having content that is too manicured and that has been super edited, and very obviously has been super edited. The reality is it makes you a lot more accessible and relatable when you make mistakes, when you fluff your lines, or you say the wrong thing, or make some kind of trip up on your words. Of course, you don't really want to have videos and talks that are full of you going and or full of you saying things like, well, it was like, and I was like, and he was like, and she was like, you know. These are things that we use far too often, these filler words that we use a lot. And so doing live streaming actually pushes you to clean up how you speak. My worst one still is saying so at the start of sentences that don't require it. And I'm still working on cleaning that up. Sometimes that's appropriate and sometimes it's not, but it is a filler word most of the time. So there I did it again. But it was appropriate there. So this is one of the reasons why I think you might want to think about doing live streaming. It really does get you to clean up how you talk and how you present, and get you into that adaptability and flexibility thing, making you more relatable too. Something that was very interesting with in politics. You think back, some of you will be old enough to remember when Ronald Reagan was president of the US, but certainly more of you should remember perhaps when George W. Bush was the president. Let's not think too much about the recent guy who no longer is, but these presidents were considered to be perhaps more relatable by the public because they made these slip-ups. They sometimes said the wrong thing or said something in the wrong way. They misspoke quite often. There were books that were published about George W. Bush's gaffes. Some of them were really quite funny. It didn't make them seem incompetent to people. It just seemed to make them seem more relatable. So don't aim for trying to have this perfectly manicured image where there's never any mistakes. It actually looks a lot better for you when there are. So live streaming can be one of the things that can help you to become more relatable to your audience, because you will have some of these gaffes that will go in there. No time ever there's no way you're going to do every live stream you ever do perfectly and say everything exactly the way you wanted to say it. And that's how it should be as well. So be okay with that, let it go. And once it's done, you're mostly done with it, unless you want to tidy it up in edit for YouTube, which I will do. I will take out my my countdown intro on YouTube videos generally, because I don't think people on YouTube want to see those countdowns. And I maybe will tidy something up if something really has gone amiss in there. It can be good to go in and edit and put in thumbnails and things like that, and your keywords, and make sure that you are ideally talking about stuff that is interesting to people as well. Here's one of the benefits that I didn't really consider when I started live stream, but has become a really valuable part of that. And that would be live interaction. Being able to have people come and join in the chat and share their opinions and thoughts as you are live on air is great. It's really useful. And it can be, I will say it can be a distraction. Like, for example, I invite guests and audience now to come and join the live studio recordings of my podcasts. And whilst that's a new thing, and so we're not really having too many people show up for that yet, but I'm anticipating that more and more people will. And as a result, I'm aware that people may have questions and comments whilst we're doing the show. My experience has been that can really interrupt the flow of a conversation. If you are interviewing someone, or if you're having a panel discussion for your show and on your live stream, then bringing up the questions and comments from the audience, you have to be very careful about the times that you do that, so that it doesn't interrupt the flow of conversation. What I am choosing to do then is to start adding question and answer session exclusively for the live audience, to stay on a few minutes at the end of the interview and get to ask their questions. That's not going to go out as live stream, but that will be something that I can publish later, and an added bonus to people who want to turn up live. I still think this is the future of podcasting. I still think it's great if you can get live video content out there, unless you're really terrible on camera. And even then, just do it anyway, because you will get better at it. Like anything, this is a learnable skill. This is a learnable skill, and something that you can get better at. I'm going to go and find the person who's drilling and throttle them and ask them gently to stop. But I'm going to do that after our stream today. But I hope this has been useful information for you about why I live stream. If you are a streamer and you can think of other reasons why to use live streaming, I would like to hear from you as well, because I'm sure there are more. So leave something in the comments and let me know why you do live streaming. If you are thinking about doing live streaming, I would recommend that you give it a go. I think you can do this without too much commitment. I would recommend to use Restream. It allows you to stream your content up to 30 or more social media platforms at once, which is one of the reasons why I use it. And also, you can give it a try. And when you do your first stream, you will receive a $10 Restream bonus. So use the link in the description. You can see it on the screen. I don't think you can copy and paste it off the screen, unfortunately. But if you give Restream a try, and once you do your first live stream, and it could just be something as simple as you doing a live stream and going on for a minute, so saying, hey, I just thought I'd give live streaming a go and think about something to have a chat about, something that's on your mind, something topical, something that you're an expert in, and give live streaming a go. You can always just do it to one channel, and You can delete it later if you really are not happy with it. But I think you might enjoy it, especially if you are a content creator. It's a great way to go. If you're a podcaster, I highly encourage you to think about moving more towards live stream and video podcasting as it's being called by many people, because I think this is the way everything's going to head. And whilst the technology is not fully there for this, like the integrations are a little bit complicated right now, I think it's going to be a lot of fun for the future. And that opportunity to be able to interact and be a part of people's shows is going to be incredible for people who are able to utilize that well and allow the audience to really be a part of things, not just to listen to the recordings, but to be able to join in the live studio. I think it's a fantastic opportunity, and one with certain shows that I enjoy listening to, I would jump at the opportunity to be part of the live stream studio audience. Okay, that's pretty much it from me. So whatever you're up to for the rest of the day, have yourself an amazing day. If you're going to give live streaming a go, let me know. If you want help with getting live streaming started or coming up with online content or anything to do with presenting in the streams, then I will be happy to offer some assistance. Just drop me a line. You can connect with me on Twitter and Clubhouse. It's at John A. Ball, or you can also connect with me on my social media platforms. So let me just see if I can get the right thing up here. No, that's the wrong profile. So you can also connect with me on YouTube. So if you're not following me there, please look for Present Influence. You'll find my channel. Give me a like and a subscribe if you're watching this video, especially. Click that bell notification. You will get notified whenever we go live, whenever there's a recording up there. I put up content as often as I can. I do live interviews. In fact, I've got one a bit later today, and that's going to be for the Points of Change podcast, which we're talking about physical transformation. I'm talking with, my guest is going to be personal trainer Ian Iyer, and Ian is an expert in that transformation, helping executives and entrepreneurs to have more energy. Do tune into Points of Change, and maybe check out Speaking of Influence as well. It's my long-running podcast show, and the audience has been really picking up for it. I get so many amazing guests. In fact, I get so many great guests that plan to be on the show, I actually have to say no to some people now, which is a nice problem to have. I'll be happy to connect with you. Find me on LinkedIn, on most social media platforms. Have an amazing rest of your day. Now it is time for you to get back to work and for me to go and sort out the driller. Bye-bye. Thanks for tuning in. Remember to like and subscribe, and make sure you follow me on social media. Check out my other shows, Speaking of Influence and Points of Change. And wherever you are, have an amazing day. Time to get back to work.